Well, once the Republic had failed to pick up any points in Lisbon, they had to rely on Brian Hamilton's Northern Irish side taking points away from the Austrians. And coming up, one of the greatest nights in Northern Ireland's checkered footballing history. At a rain-swept Windsor Park in Belfast, just 7,000 fans were inside the ground, but those who were there saw a night to remember. 4-4-2, the Northern Irish lineup. They welcome back, strengthened by both Ian Dowie and Gillespie's presence, with Alan Fedis in goal, Steve Lomas and Frank Worthington, the fullbacks, Hill and Hunter in central defence. The Austrian side of Herbert Prohaska looked for Tony Paulson in the number 9 shirt. He was the leading scorer in all the groups competing for qualification. Andy Herzog, the Bayern Munich star, and Peter Stöger in the number 11 jersey, who's contributed some crucial goals as well in the latter stages, not least a hat-trick to see off the Republic in the summer. So underway in the first half, Northern Ireland in the green jerseys and white shorts, Austria in their traditional black and white, and they're playing 5 at the back, and the onus on them to get a point that will carry them through to qualification. As we started the game, they were 1 point behind the Republic, but with a superior record. And the first scare for the Austrian keeper, Consul, as the Northern Irish came straight out and went for the jugular. Kubauer. Clearly the plan of Hamilton was to unsettle the Austrians, and you can hear the passion and noise being made by the small crowd. Inhospitable climate, vicious night, nasty weather, and certainly not suiting the Austrian style of play at all. And that was the diving Phil Gray just failing to connect with that ricochet as Dowie went in on the cross. Forward from Worthington, the senior player in the Northern Irish side. Here's Michael Hughes. Hughes lining up the cross, chested down by Dowie. 28 minutes on the clock and Northern Ireland ahead. Rifled home by Michael O'Neill, the Hibs man, winning his 26th cap tonight. After 28 minutes where the Northern Irish had asked all the questions of the Austrian defenders, Hughes' cross chested back into the path of Michael O'Neill. Time for him to measure the shot, and a very clinical and precise finish that leaves Michael Consul stranded in the away goal. 1-0 Northern Ireland. Straight back at the Austrians again, never allowed to settle in this game. Here's the goal scorer. Back to Hughes. In for Dowie, and Dowie is pulled back by Feiersinger. The referee, no hesitation. Lee Sundal points to the penalty spot. And 4 minutes after O'Neill's goal gave them the lead, Northern Ireland with a great opportunity to double it with a penalty kick. Clear body contact right under the referee's nose. Feiersinger taking Dowie down, and the West Ham man himself gets up to smash the spot kick home. And Northern Ireland lead here in Belfast by 2-0. Well, the front two of Ian Dowie, the much-travelled striker, in his second spell now at West Ham, ex-Southampton, Palace, Luton, and Phil Gray, of course, who was also at Luton for a spell, now with Sunderland. Coming to half-time, you can see the rain on the camera lens, just how difficult it was for both sets of players. And the Austrians looking to get back in the game as that one whistles past the post with Fettis stranded. Ian Dowie making his physical presence felt, coming towards the break now. And a great opportunity to add a third, this time set up by Keith Gillespie. And the shot saved at the second attempt. Consul relieved that the Irish weren't further in front. Young Neil Lennon winning his 5th cap this evening. It was on the end of that cross from the right, but couldn't finish. That's the best opportunity of the first half for the Austrians. A goal then might have changed the outcome considerably. And there from the free kick, it's Walter Kögler, the FK Austria man, who is wasteful with a header from close range. So 2-0 to Northern Ireland at the break then. Start of the second half, and an error from keeper Consul, not trusting himself to take the ball cleanly in the rain, and a punch that lands at the feet of Barry Hunter, and the central defender scores his first international goal and makes it 3-0 Northern Ireland in the 53rd minute. Poor punch clearance indeed from Consul, really under no pressure, and Hunter instinctively hitting the ball first time back into the unguarded net. Great moment for the Wrexham boy, Firesinger. He conceded the penalty, remember, in the first half. 3-0 to Northern Ireland at this stage, beyond the wildest dreams of even their most fervent supporters. But the crowd stilled in the wet night around Windsor Park when the Austrians got one back with that header, the cross in from the right. Tony Polster delivering the cross, and the goal to the name of Schopp, the number 2, Marcus Schopp, brings it back to 3-1. So the Austrians they felt back in the game. Real end-to-end stuff in the mud. Yes, Phil Gray makes life uncomfortable once again for the Austrians as the keeper comes, and then the defender gets in the way, and the goal scorer, Schopp, concedes a corner kick. Michael Consul by this time, having already conceded 3 goals, clearly unhappy with the aerial ball in from the corner kick. Once again, it's a mistake from the Austrian keeper, and the ricochet coming in from right on the goal line. Phil Gray has the simplest of chances to head in number 4, and the Northern Irish restore the 3-goal cushion. That goal coming on 63 minutes, and 2 defenders getting in the way of the keeper. Simple chance for Phil Gray to get his name on the score sheet, but the Austrians weren't finished. Here's Anton Polster setting up the opportunity, a shot that skids off the wet surface. Alan Fettis can't hold it, and following up, as all good strikers should, Stumpf on 69 makes it 4-2. Second half substitutes Stumpf in the right place to reduce the arrears. The Austrians then enjoyed their best spell of the whole game. Fettis forced to punch. The Austrians, knowing they really had to pull something out of the fire, do or die for them, just needed a point to get into second place. But in pursuit of that, they conceded a 5th goal and just about made the game safe for Northern Ireland. On 77 minutes, his second of the night, Michael O'Neill. He'll be hoping to carry that great form forward to the weekend, where he'll be partaking in the Edinburgh Derby for his side, Hibs. And the 26-year-old with a sweet left foot chip that leaves Consul to pick the ball out of the net for a 5th time. 5-2 to Northern Ireland now at this point in the game, and the goal scoring hadn't finished. 10 minutes to go. Polster once again creating the chance, and the second of 2 substitutes that came on in the second half, Vettel this time, makes it Northern Ireland 5, Austria 3. But that was the end of the scoring, and Northern Ireland, well, they'll look back on the campaign. It all began for them way back in April of '94, before the World Cup in fact got underway. Theirs was the very first match to take place in the whole qualification process, when they beat Liechtenstein 4-1 on this ground. They might even have had a 6th near the end, Neil Lennon guilty of missing an open goal after great play to the byline by O'Neill. But this win, only the 2nd time in 24 years that Northern Ireland had scored 5 goals. As you see there, could so easily have been more. And when they look back on that campaign, they will rue defeats, in particular at home here to Latvia. They also lost to Portugal and the Republic, perhaps no disgrace there. But in the final analysis, a home defeat, 3-2 at the hands of Latvia, was to prove their downfall. 7,000 fans who braved the elements to come here and witness a night to remember, give the Northern Irish a great hand at the end of the night, and I'm sure they are joined by the whole population south of the border, because that defeat of Austria makes sure that the Republic hang on to second place.